Alright guys, this one's going to be a little bit long, or longer than normal. To some people it may even be quite boring, but to some it may just give you a bit of information about rust proofing. Obviously you know that because you've clicked on the video. So the reason I want to talk about it is because I've got this vehicle here. It's a wire edge Audi TT Mark 1 that somebody has, I'd say rust proofed, but that's, I'm going to have to use that term loosely. Now, some of you may not be aware, but I actually used to do rust proofing for a British company, fairly well known British company, which I'm not going to mention because I don't particularly like them anymore. I fell out with them when I worked with them, and I don't really agree with some of the products they use and some of the processes they seem to have now. So this is kind of my do's and don'ts of having your vehicle undercoated. Now, there are products out there that claim you don't need to prep, that claim you can rust proof the bottom of a vehicle such as this in about 15 to 20 minutes. Right, well, that's about what this vehicle had, about what it took. So let's just go around and have a look and see what this rust proofing has done for this vehicle. So we can already see we've got bits that they've missed. We've clearly got plenty of surface rust that hasn't been coated. You know, this product that they've stuck on here is a drying product. It's got a slight tack to it. Not sure what it is. It's got a slight tack to it. I mean, it almost seems like some sort of stone chip maybe or something. I mean, you can see in the edges there, look, there's nothing above the heat shields. You know, we've not removed any of the plastics, which means all the sensitive areas up around the fuel tank. You can tell me you can protect your car in 15 minutes, but you can't. I'm just telling you. So you can see there, look, where the seal is peeling off. Obviously you can see the jacking points where they had it on the lift. This side we've put something on it. I don't really know what that is yet again, but we've put something on this side. This side we completely forgot about. And you can clearly see the jacking points crushed in. Now, from a rust proofing, I don't care how good your product creeps, how good it is at doing anything. If you've got corrosion like this, where this edge, look, is peeling off, and you don't peel that off, yeah, I don't care what you use on it, you're going to spray that over the top of there, and the water's still going to be under here, rusting your vehicle away. It is not possible to do a good job. I'm saying a good job, I'm not saying it's not possible. I can take your vehicle and I can throw anything on it in 15 minutes. Will it protect it? In some areas. Will it make it a hell of a lot better than it was? Not really. My opinion, so you can see this vehicle, look, we've got bits where the drains are, look, that we've missed around the edges. Alright, fair enough. You can see like the rear arms are quite scaly. You can see where the seal is peeling off there, and it's all rusty underneath and it's very dry. So I would say, at the very minimum, if you are going to rust proof a vehicle, let's take this vehicle as an example. So if I was going to rust proof this vehicle as it sits, you'd want to take the wheels and tyres off. Now, these don't actually have arch liners in the rear, they're just solid metal, so that's fine. But you'd want to take the wheels off, and you'd want to pull any plastics out the arches, which this one's already missing, and you can even see somebody didn't even bother doing the backs of the wings. And backs of wings is places where you're actually most likely to get rust quickly, especially now it's all open. Paint tends to be quite thin. I mean, you see that we're almost rotten up there near the cooler. That area, if we poke that too much, is going to cause problems. So you want to take the arch liners out. I mean, if you're having something new, when I say new, I mean maybe the last 7 years, these here will be under trays. It will be plastic on BMWs, Mercedes, all this will be plastic. I don't care what you're doing, you cannot rust-proof that vehicle with all those plastics there. And you're certainly not going to get them all off in 15-20 minutes. The T5 vans, for instance, I've rust-proofed no end of those, and you'd probably spend 45 minutes to an hour taking the plastics off just to get to the metal surface. I mean, as you can see, like, you can see where the dust stuck to that, or it's, you know, where it wasn't dry, and we've got bits that have already flaked off. The reason that's flaked off is because you've used a drying product on dust. Now, that wouldn't be too much of a problem if you were using a wax-based product. A wax-based product would grip to that relatively well. Ideally, you want it clean. So, to me, you should wash the bottom of the vehicle, get as much of the dirt and dust off as you can, and obviously you're going to need to dry that vehicle and make sure it's all dry and good to go. And that you can see that it didn't get above where the shock is, it didn't get above the rear heat shield. So you're going to need to do that. And then any areas where, like I say, where this is peeling back, this needs to go. That's got to go. Okay, you've got to get rid of all those loose edges. Now, rust converters. I think the best one by far is RC900, which is a Dinitrol product. It's bloody expensive, but it is an epoxy-based rust converter, so it's a very good product and you could almost paint something with that and not worry about it rusting for a few years without putting that product on top of it. It's that good, but it is expensive. But you do get what you pay for. Dinitrol underbody wax, the 4941. Amazing stuff, brilliant. I spent 6 years in the trade and saw vehicles come back that have been done sort of every year, because you just maintain it, you know, get it checked once a year. Brilliant product, works really well if the prep's done right. That's the big part, and that's where the money is in rust proofing. It's getting the prep done right. Now, I am going to order some Lanergard. It's obviously been promoted a lot on the internet. They say you can do a car in 15-20 minutes. I don't believe this. I believe to do a vehicle properly, I mean, vehicles tend to rust from the inside out, so to rust proof this you would need to take these bungs out and you'd need to spray inside these cavities. Sometimes it's even necessary to drill holes in the end of them, sometimes there's already holes in them, but you need to get inside the cavities as well. They do little bits and pieces so that you can do that, but you couldn't do it in 15 to 20 minutes. Now, some people won't want to do it at all, and I'm thinking about getting this Lanergard and then doing a vehicle in it and trying the product, see what I think of it, because I was thinking about offering a rust proofing service in Lincolnshire, and I'm kind of trying to work out what products I'm gonna offer. Obviously prices all depend on what products you go for. I mean, you use Dinitrol, you're going to spend a lot of money because the products are more expensive. Lanergard is a cheaper alternative, but Lanergard says you are supposed to coat your vehicle every 12 months. So from that point of view, not necessarily a lot cheaper, because Dinitrol product, you should keep an eye on it, maybe get it inspected once a year, but you don't have to get it recoated every year, so an inspection's a lot cheaper. So you might pay £700, £800 to have it done in Dinitrol, have a vehicle done in Dinitrol, but that's going to last 5 years before you have to have it recoated, minimum. And then something like Lanergard, I mean, if I was to do that, maybe it might be £200, £300, depending on what sort of level you go to. But then you're supposed to have it done every year, so that works out quite expensive in the long run. Now, obviously, there are a lot of opinions on rust proofing on the internet. Some of it you can believe, some of it you can't. Everybody likes to tell you that it's really easy to do. You know, everybody wants a quick, simple, easy solution to the rust on their vehicle. Truth of the matter is, if you have an incredibly rusty vehicle, say it's orange and scaling, it's all flaking front to back, it doesn't matter what you do with it. I mean, yes, you could, but it would cost you thousands, you know, to get all that removed, cleaned up and done properly. So some of the products I've got here, so I've already got some of this. I use this on a regular basis. This is the RC900. Like I say, 3 tins of that was nearly 100 quid. But you don't use that much, to be entirely fair. There are some wax oil products and whatever out there as well that you can use. I mean, wax oils, yet again, if you keep an eye on it and take care of it, it will work. But wax oils can tend to dry out, so if you're not topping it up every year, again, you get back to that having to top it up every year, and if you're not topping it up every year, that can dry out and start to flake and actually hold moisture onto the bottom of the vehicle where it's not quite fell off yet. I have, to be fair, never seen Dinatrol underbody wax do that. I have seen it fall off where people have put it on top of sand, like Sahara Desert sand. If you've got a vehicle that goes to the Sahara Desert regularly, don't call me. Not interested. Too much hard work. You'll never protect it before you go to the desert, or don't bother at all, because that stuff's like talcum powder, and it sticks so well. You'll spend a billion years trying to get it off, or you'd have to strip the chassis down to completely nothing and pressure wash it within an inch of its life to get it to get rid of it. So I am, like I say, I'm trying to share some information with you about some products that I've used that I personally like, with some stuff I'm going to try. And really, I'm just trying to see if there is an interest out there for rust proofing, for Dinatrol products, maybe even the Lanagard application, you know, or even if there's just people interested in having wax oil or something done. If it's something you're looking for, and you've happened to have found this video, and you know you're watching it and you're thinking to yourself, well, actually this sounds like a good idea, please let me know down in the comments, you know, what your thoughts are, what it is you're looking for, and what it is you want for your vehicle. It'd be interesting to see what people are after. Just so you're aware, I mean, if you are looking at spraying something on your car, don't put stone chip on the bottom of it. Don't put anything that dries. Sound deadening, the name of it's evading me. I'll think of it again in a minute. But like your stone chip, it's meant for a sill area. It's not meant to overlap seams. If you overlap seams, it cracks. And as soon as it cracks, it allows moisture behind it. Then you start the rusting process. Your sound dampening, spray on sound dampening, that's to stop noise, and yet again, that's not supposed to cover edges or seams, because it will do the same thing, it will crack. This actually hasn't cracked yet, but at some point that will crack down that seam. I mean, like I say, it's not perfectly dry, but you can see there, look, it's not very thick either, because I've just knocked that off from a nail. And the thing is, stones will chip that off. I mean, you can see there, look, where if you're interested, I'm doing a lambda sensor. You can see it's really not very thick at all very well held on. Now, obviously, there are products that you can put on top of rust that will stop the rust by isolating it. There are also products you can spray onto the bottom of your vehicle that will stop the rust, and they do work. But it all depends on how long you intend on keeping your vehicle for. Now, the guy who actually owns this is his second car. I've actually got an engine which I'm building there, which is going into another Mark 1 Audi TT. That there's going into it It's having all polybushed subframes. Subframes are up there. We've got coilovers. We've got the first ever big brake kit for a Mark 1 Audi TT. He bought it. I think there's been another one done since, but he actually bought the first ever kit. We've also got poly bushes for all the suspension components, arms and everything else. So I will do some videos on that as well, some shorts and maybe some longer videos on the engine going in the car, and you know, the poly bushing and everything else, because we are going to go over and rust proof some of the tatty areas under there, and I'll show you the way that I do it. But yeah, that's just some of my thoughts on rust proofing and what is good and what isn't good, and my experience with it. If you have different experiences, if you've used Lanergard, and when I say used it, I mean used it and not been given it free in order to do an advert for it, because it is a heavily advertised item, which means they've put a lot of money into advertising, then please let me know down in the comments what your thoughts on the product were. I'd be interested to hear. And what your thoughts are on rust proofing products, and whether it's something that you would do. You know, what sort of money you think that a good price point for rust proofing is. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you down in the comments beneath, and I'll catch you guys soon.